Greetings, everyone, and we're back to our regularly scheduled program. I hope everyone's had a great weekend. It is Wednesday. I had a great time at the Downton Abbey world premiere. It was a lot of fun. Got to meet the cast and hang out. I'm going to wait for everybody to come in. We've got some interesting things to discuss today. Hey, Terry, what's going on, my friend? Oh, Ryan's here. Okay. JW's in the building. Y'all loading in fast. Okay. So I'm going to wait for everybody to get here. We got a lot to discuss. Today is going to be interesting this evening because we usually only discuss a little bit more than politics, but it's mostly politically driven. But today, we're going to discuss some issues with race, gender, sex, drugs, and of course politics and the shit show called impeachment. What's going on? Joe Curlin's here. Chloe. Hey, Chloe in North Carolina. Martin's here. Oh, wow. Darling. Hey, girl. Hey, darling. You are always here. I love you for that. Sandra. Who's this? Denise. Hey, Denise in Kentucky. Colorado Springs in the building. Elisa. Queens. I was just in New York. What up, Queens? Tempe. Chaparral. Alicia in Augusta. Chris in Cleveland. Hey, Roy in Ohio. Is that Cora? Hey, how's it going? I'm doing all right, Cora. Houston in the building. What's up, Eve? I'm going to wait for a few more folks to get in. Y'all know I get in my moods and I get real emotional. Some stories actually touch me more than others. And while you're loading in, basically, I'm going to start off with this Ed Buck story because it's a story that kind of hits close to home for me. And it's something that I think I would be not doing my job or my duty as a human being, as a person who is part of the LGBTQ community. I would just not be doing anyone a service by not addressing this. Now, there's a lot going on. I think while we're in this great revolution of LGBTQ activism, rights, visibility, things like that, there's certain things that don't get addressed. And I may lose a few people here, and that's fine. That's fine. But you know how sometimes online I'll say, black people, we're all black people, you know, we go through the same issues. Just because I'm gay, that doesn't erase the fact that I'm black. And the reason that I say this is, so for those of you who don't know, Ed Buck, who is actually a pretty sizable Democratic donor, he's donated like $116,000 of his own money over the past decade, basically got arrested today because he was charged with running a drug house, battery, and a few other things. Basically, Mr. Buck is widely believed to basically take homeless black men or black men who are struggling, black gay men who are struggling with addiction, things of that nature. He basically takes them to his home, promising them money, shelter, things of that nature, and he injects them with high amounts of crystal meth, heroin, drugs, all kinds of shit. And he's had 2 of these gentlemen die in his home. He lives in West Hollywood, from what I'm seeing here. He lives in Hollywood. And nothing happened. Okay? They found one young man, and I want to make sure I get their names right. For this. Jamel Moore and Timothy Dean. Jamel Moore and Timothy Dean were both found in similar situations. They were found nude on a mattress in his home, surrounded by drug syringes and sex toys. So basically, it's some kind of sexual fetish that he has where he likes to inject black men with drugs and get off to that. And he's had, like I said, 2 people die. The reason why he's gotten arrested this time is because a third gentleman overdosed recently, but he survived. And that's when they went in and arrested him. What we're not looking at is this. And I want to speak directly, and I want to take time. Like I said, I may lose some of you, but I feel like it's something that's important to discuss. I want to speak to black gay men explicitly because I saw some very nasty things online. You know, oh, they should have never went over there. Why would I go there? When people are addicted to drugs, and if anybody should understand, or any community should understand how terrible drug addiction can be, it should be the black community, the way that the crack epidemic ravaged our neighborhoods. Sometimes you can't control, a lot of times you can't control your addiction. And if you're homeless living on the street, you don't have any money, you're addicted to drugs, you're going to go where you can get a hot meal, sleep, whatever, and do what you got to do. So I think it's unfair, especially when I saw some of you crying over Mac Miller and speaking out about how his dealer, who didn't inject him with the drugs, and this is no shade, I'm not making any situation better, but I'm just noting the contrast. His dealer, who did not inject him with the drugs, sold it to him. He used the drugs, okay, but the dealer got locked up, and you were crying over Mac Miller a year later. Not to say that it doesn't matter or that his death is any less, but we're not going to disregard these young men. In one case, this Jamel Moore, 26 years old. And the interesting thing about Jamel Moore is he kept a journal. And in his journal, he said that he wasn't addicted to drugs, but he got addicted to drugs, which was crystal meth. And the first time he had it was when he was over Ed Buck's house, and Ed Buck injected him with crystal meth, and he got addicted. Okay? For some people, this is a fetish. And I think, you know, while we're on this whole campaign in America about opioid abuse, it should be across the board. Okay? One type of addict or one race of addict is no more important than the other. So I was personally offended when I saw especially other gay black men saying that, oh, they got what they deserve. Sis, everybody's walk is different, and quite frankly, I think it's rude, and it's very cruel and insensitive. Furthermore, I did some research into Mr. Buck. He actually is an LGBTQ rights activist. Okay, and when I say this shit for this. People think that because we all gay, that shit is all cool. One thing about Dave Chappelle's stand-up, and a lot of people didn't like it, but when he broke down that LGBTQ dynamic in the car, if you've seen that special, it was fucking facts. You can feel some kind of way about it, but there are dynamics in this community that are not addressed in the public eye. A lot of this shit is behind closed doors. And I'm going to tell you something, and I don't give a fuck who feels the way. When gay marriage was passed, you saw a shift in the relationship between black gay people and white gay people. I'm not saying all, but when you go into a gay club now as a black person and you have a certain kind of look, they don't need you for the numbers anymore, sis. And I know I'm going to lose somebody here, but I really don't give a shit. Once gay marriage got passed and people got their rights and they can leave their money to their spouse and they ain't have to worry about shit going left and they got insurance now and they can put their spouse on that shit, they don't need your black ass no more. All that kumbaya shit, we in this together, that shit went out the window with a lot of people. Exhibit A, Grand Central. For you Baltimore folks. Okay? I'm preaching tonight. So, this Ed Buck situation, we have to recognize the racial undertones to it. Okay? This is a fetish. This is a kink that he has. Okay? Because why ain't no white people in there getting shot up with drugs laying on the mattress? Because there's definitely homeless white gay people. And there's definitely drug addicted white gay people. But for some reason, you was only bringing black gay men to your house. And the sad part is, when the first body was found in the home, nothing happened. It was swept under the rug. Then a second body was found, but because these are black gay boys or men, he donates money. It doesn't matter as much. Because I'm going to tell you something. If my black ass called the police and there was a white man laying on my mattress shot up with drugs and he was dead, my black ass is going to jail. I don't give a fuck how much money I donate, bitch. I'm going to the Slammer, the Big House, the Capuche, Rikers, bitch. Okay? That's facts. So we got to recognize the racial undertones because racism exists in all demographics. And that's just fucking facts. Okay? I don't care how much money you donate, how many activists you could be on. We all saw Get Out. What did the father say? I would have voted for Obama for a third term or some shit like that. That don't mean nothing. But what we gotta do is stop prioritizing people's traumas. Okay? We can't say, oh, white people in the Midwest or in mine country or cold country, y'all struggling right now, y'all on drugs, so now we gonna find the pharmacy companies, we locking up the drug dealers that sold you the shit, and then we gonna cry when you die a year later. And I mean no disrespect to Mac Miller's family, but these guys had names too. And nobody cried for them. Nobody cared. You know how I knew about this situation? It was from gay blogs 2 years ago, a year ago, when the shit first started happening. Those are the only outlets that were reporting this on a major scale. This shit wasn't in the news like this. You had to be in with gay bloggers and be of the community to know that this was even going on. It took the third person to almost die and come back, shout out to him, for it to come to this. And I'm going to go further. It's a whole culture around this shit. So I've researched this thing. This shit is called chemsex. So basically, it's this kink where people actually do drugs to have like this massive, great sexual experience. Like they shoot up with a bunch of shit. And some of these parties can go on for days. Like they have whole parties and shit. Race play, shit like that. If you ever seen, I believe, was it Coffee? Where he wanted to shoot, they shot Coffee up with drugs or some shit. One of them Pangria movies. But this shit been going on for years. And you know what's crazy to me? What is crazy about this is also where you see the privilege. Okay? You see the privilege. Because my sense is, if my black ass gets away with murder the first time, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. The second time, I'm probably going to move. It wouldn't even have made it to a third time. And we saw this with that Jeffrey Epstein shit. Motherfuckers really don't be thinking they're going to get caught. And that's the reality. They don't think they're going to get caught. They think it's going to keep going on, and they're going to be chill. Because we donate. This is the thing. They donate that money and shit as a cover-up. He's sitting on the Stonewall committee. Like, this motherfucker was on committees, bitch. Okay? And I'm sure some of them knew about this. And they paid it. They paid it. Just like these trans girls getting murdered left and right. They paid it. I want people, and I'm going to say this because we got some other shit to cover, but I'm going to say this to my fellow LGBTQ people, my fellow LGBTQ black people. We have to stick together. We have to look out for each other. We can't make excuses for why bad shit happens to us. It's not fair. Because nobody's making excuses for other people. They like, yeah, go ahead and sue his ass. We have to stop. We are so hard on each other. And we can't be like that. We got to stop being so hard. Yes, you keep it real with a bitch. But if your sister or your brother is struggling with addiction, that is a mental deficiency. That's a mental illness. That is a sickness. Okay? And the next time you say, well, why did he go in the house? Think about it when you walk past that guy and you don't help them. Or you're shaming that sex worker. They're not asking you for money, but they're doing something to get it. Some people don't want to beg you for nothing. Some people going to figure out a way. And if you just say, you know what, sis, I don't know what your situation, or bro, I don't know what your situation is, but just something as simple as it'll get better. Or can I just take you out to Burger King or some shit? We ain't perfect, but we're not going to sit and trash these people because they did lose their lives. Okay? They did lose their lives. And we're not saying that about these opioid addicts who overdose and die. I ain't never seen so many advertisements for overdose medication on buses in my life. You never saw that in the crack era. I've never seen corporations being held. They're not even being held accountable for price gouging on prescription medications that people need. But they getting put to task for these drugs and this meth and this fentanyl and shit. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Support each other. His ass got it coming. But the sad part is, he's only eligible, like he can face up to 6 years. That's not a long time, sis. 6 years is not a long time. So he's killed 2 people. Almost killed the third. And at best, he'll get some fines. They probably can sue or something. But he's only going to do 6 years. Max. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, Corey Lewandowski. Personally, you know, guys, we've been doing these webcasts, Secretary of Shade, live from the living room. Speaking of which, I'm getting this wall painted finally because I know y'all been talking about my wall and lack of sets. But anyway. We've been doing this for over a year now. And it's interesting seeing names come back up from when we first started reading the books and seeing how they play. So Corey Lewandowski, who was Trump's old campaign manager, basically got called in for a hearing for impeachment proceedings to start the process, look into it, probe it, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was a dog and pony show, for those of you who happen to catch it. Okay? It was a dog and pony show. At this point, and this is where we have to have a come to Jesus moment. I understand why they are going forward with impeachment because he does deserve it. But Democrats, y'all are going to have to get a little bit more strategic in how you do these things. Because here's the thing. Since Trump's presidency, the beginning of his campaign, things of that nature, Russia's fooling with our democracy. They're trying to undermine our democracy. At this point, Russia ain't got to do shit. We doing it to ourselves. Because I never thought I would see the day where Congress people in hearings are getting just shitted on. Like, once again, and it goes back, the theme for the night has to be white privilege to a certain degree. Because my black ass is not sitting up in a congressional hearing, bitch, doing some of the shit that Corey Lewandowski did. Even with the Brett Kavanaugh hearing. Like, black people, we just not doing no perfect, we just not doing no shit. Number one, I get nervous when I get a receipt of payment from the IRS. I'm like, bitch, is they coming for, like, what's going on? They just tell me, bitch, we got the payment. Okay? These motherfuckers be in the hearings shitting on Congress. Like, he ain't answering. He's like, I ain't saying shit. I ain't answering shit. Get the fuck up out my face. That's what he might as well have said. So you don't need Russia to undermine a democracy at this point because the government is doing it to themselves. If I'm at home, or I'm some foreign power, and I'm watching, I'm like, bitch, y'all getting shitted on by the old campaign manager? How the fuck that happened? Like, it used to be a time where you get like, bitch, shook as fuck. I get shook when I see SWAT cars. Let alone congressional subpoenas, bitch. It's like they don't even care about it. And that's coming from the top. Okay? I feel like I get why they did the hearing. One thing that I think came out of this hearing that was crucial was that in so many ways he admitted that he was instructed to kind of act on Trump's behalf by Trump to stop the investigation into, the Russian meddling and his involvement and things like that. So we did get that from this. But when I looked into it and looked at some of the outliers that were happening, Nancy Pelosi was not a fan of bringing him in initially. Neither was Maxine Waters. They never listened to the women. They just never did. A few, Democratic, prominent Democratic folks were not really that keen on it because they knew what it could be. And see, the thing is, what's interesting about this administration's way of doing things is that they know being brazen, being disrespectful is what's going to catch the headline. We missed because we just couldn't believe how disrespectful he was. That in so many ways he kind of let you know and let us know in the hearing that he was instructed to block that shit, hold that shit off. But those are the things you miss in the fine print because you're so gaslit and shocked by how nasty he is. And I think these hearings, part of the hearings is this. I think, and y'all might disagree with me on this, some of these hearings don't need to be on television. I agree that you should take them for record-keeping purposes and to have things on the record, but I think part of this administration, part of their strength is that they know it's going to be televised. And as long as there's a camera and it's going to be in a public view, they are basically fighting this battle in the court of public opinion to a certain degree. And we all help them, myself included. Because what do? I do these fucking meetings. Now, granted, some of it I go in and weed out the weeds and, give you some true tea, break it down for you, all of that. But as long as they keep showing, like, let's think about it, guys. Let's think about it. Let me reel it. Did we really have to watch this? Did that hearing really have to be on television? Did it really? We didn't have to have that hearing on TV. That's something they could have did, honestly. That could have been, what they say? Could have been an email. That could have been a stand-up meeting, bitch. If you ever worked at Target, the little stand-ups before the store open, 15 minutes. That could have been a stand-up. Okay? We didn't have to give Corey Lewandowski press. And it was all over the TV. He got his more 15 minutes. We didn't have to see that shit. Especially for what we got out of it. And no shade, we already knew that he was working under the direction of Trump. So how much of a surprise was that? Really? How much of a surprise was that, guys? Now he gonna write a book. I'm gonna probably read that book. It's gonna be a cycle. He gonna be on Dancing with the Stars. That's all I'm saying. Now, quick note, this wasn't in the headline, but I did watch clips of the debate. And I know some of you are going to disagree with me. But I don't think with Julian Castro, I don't think Julian Castro was mean. I think let's be real here. Let's be real here. Let's have a come to Jesus moment. Let's have a come to Jesus moment. We giving Joe Biden a pass. And I'm going to vote blue either way. But we're giving Joe Biden a pass. We're giving him a pass. You know why we're giving him a pass? And Jamel Hill said this. We're still operating under a white privilege system. We're not really thinking as freely as we should. We're giving them a pass because we feel like white folks in red states will vote for Joe Biden. And that's it. That's it. And I know some of y'all are going to disagree with me, but that's fucking facts. He's not presenting the best policy. He's not handling himself the best in the day. That performance was terrible. Okay? He is not innovative. He does not scream the future. What Joe Biden screams is stop the bleeding. And that's facts. In any other climate, he would never be in the lead. There are people on that stage with far more innovative plans, far more vision, and quite frankly, do show promise to actually take us somewhere further. But here's the thing. We just want to win. And I'm one of them folks, I get it. We scared that nobody's going to vote for the gay guy. We tried a woman last time, even though that was like rowing a boat with holes in it. But because she lost, even though it wasn't by popular vote, we scared to death to push another woman through. We definitely not pushing another black man through because we just got one of those. And we definitely not putting a black woman up, even though she got flaws and holes in her boat too. Okay? Y'all know, and I know. It's only to stop the bleeding. He's getting a free pass. He can damn near ice skate to the general election. And that's facts. That's the only reason. And he know it. What his wife say? Sometimes, in so many words, she like, shut up, my husband's the only one that can beat him. Just deal with it. Okay? And it's blue no matter what. But I think it's interesting that in 2019, We did all this talking 10 years ago about change, about improvements, about bucking the system, about, police brutality and moving forward and having a country that shows more diversity and actually reflects the citizens that live here. And yet, we are still placing our bets on old white men, even on the Bernie side. We believe in Bernie, Biden, and on the other side they believe in Trump. How much has really changed in America? I'm just saying, if nothing really has changed, that in 2019 going into 2020, all of the top prospects and the people they're all old white men. Most of which have seen better days in their primes. One, the current one that's sitting in the White House, want to take America back to a past time. One's living off of the glory and reputation of his homeboy, where he was sitting in the passenger seat. You sitting on the passenger side. Okay? And the other one been sitting in Congress or sitting in Senate for years. Granted, he's done some things. He's a cool guy. But now he's at that point in his life where he don't really give a fuck. So now he's doing all this crazy, outlandish shit and these new radical ideas. But my question, honestly, is you going to live long enough? Because you look like you're giving yourself a heart attack on the debate stage. And if I'm being honest, Elizabeth Warren pretty much is the same type of candidate, but she actually knows how to execute her plan and dictate it. And let me tell you something about that bitch. It's interesting. She was able to turn around and outlive that Native American scandal. That's interesting. She was able to totally turn that around. And for the most part, she did it by these debates helped her. Because had she not did well in these debates, I think Elizabeth Warren could have very well faded to the back. But she got the eye of the tiger, and she knows how to explain. We always say politics is show business, right? She knows how to explain her plan in a way that mass media, general population, can actually follow the timeline with her. Okay? And it's crazy that you have all of these different candidates. Some of them I think would make great cabinet members. I'm not sure about being president. But we're still in 2020 looking to old white men to lead us. And not saying that an old white man can't lead. But with all of these people in the field, we're like, it's gotta be them. That's all I want to say about that. Now, Iran. So, I was researching this Saudi-Iran conflict, right? So, Aramco, which is a Saudi state-owned oil plant, was struck, and they believe it was Iran. They were, bombed, whatever. So, now this puts us in the conflict. Now, when you read the headline, and see, this is the thing where you got to read headlines. And this is also going to tie into why Trump fired Bolton. Because Bolton was very anti-Middle East, we need to bomb them, we need to, go to war on theirs. He was all about it. Trump ain't really about that smoke. And I was looking at on Reuters to try to get some insight on this whole Iran conflict. Yes, I cite my sources, bitch. I was looking on Reuters, and it's interesting to me because Trump really don't want no smoke. It seemed like it, but he don't. And here's why. Because when you look at Trump's base, and he's all like let's look at Donald Trump. Let's break this down, guys. So when you look at Donald Trump's base, right? His campaign was America first. Fuck these other countries. We need to pull our shit out. We need to put our country first. It goes against his base and his campaign promises and his platform if we go to a war with Iran and deploy all of these troops over to the Middle East. It doesn't necessarily play to his campaign promises. So he's been moving kind of slow on this. Now, granted, he did, do that sidekick ass tweet after the bombing happened, after, the shit got fucked up. But he's taking his time. So on Saturday, he goes, the United States is locked and loaded. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo blamed Iran for it. But basically, Trump still has no real plan of action, per se. Now he told reporters on Monday there's plenty of time. There's no rush. We'll all be here a long time. There's no rush. Which, honestly, this kind of makes me feel a little bit better. Because I honestly thought he was going to be the bitch that just pushed the button and we all did. Boof, up in smoke. This comforts me a fraction of a percent that he did it with that. And also, too, he wants to ensure that the culprit is positively identified in a way that will pass muster with him, but with the American people. So basically, he want to confirm from what the reports are saying. Trump actually wants to confirm that Iran did it first. He don't want to just be like, oh, bitch, Iran did it. Bomb ass. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, we had that Iran nuclear deal that pretty much all went up in smoke. I never really agreed with that deal anyway, but okay. But it seems like a lot of people, including Captain Crunch, don't necessarily want to go to war with Iran because it can do nothing but spell disaster. Now, this is what he's saying now. 2 days from now, we could be saying goodbye to our loved ones that serve this country, and they could be headed over on a plane to Iran. Okay? But for right now, it seems like he's using one shred of sense. But it's all about how he looks to me. I think that with him, it's all about how he's perceived, and also, too, he likes fans. Donald Trump likes fans. Just like he was hurt as fuck when he ran for president and all of the celebrities, the more liberal celebrities, started taking his phone calls and shit. He was hurt by that. Okay? So I think that he probably is thinking about all of those things. Long story short, it's an exhausting affair. Like I said, I am comforted that by the fact that he's saying, wait a minute, let's kind of take a look at that. Which also makes me understand that this motherfucker is not as crazy as he be acting. Sometimes. Okay? So that's interesting. But on that note, I gotta get ready to go. My shows come on. American Horror Story 1984 starts tonight, so I gotta watch that. Make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, click the bell for your notification, bitch. If you're not following me on Instagram at GODDM, I hope you guys had a great day. You have a great rest of your week and weekend and all of that jazz. Make sure you do go see the Downton Abbey film. Like I said, I did go to the premiere, and it was fan service, bitch. Like, they definitely was like, bitch, this what the people want, this what we gonna give them. But it was definitely, a great film. I had a spectacular time. Special thank you to, Carnival, the folks at Lincoln Center, for, having me there, my mentor, Doris Kassab, and everyone for inviting me out. You guys have a great evening, and you be blessed.